Hello, chess fans. Welcome to another episode of Chess Chat, a program brought to you live from the Rollstone Bank and Trust studio at Fitchburg Access Television. I am George Merijanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club, the second oldest chess club in Massachusetts, meets every Wednesday evening from 6:30 to 10:30 in the McKay Campus building at the university. And with me, once again, for this edition of Chess Chat, is our award-winning director, Darren Dame of Fitchburg, recipient of FATV's prestigious Boulder Award in 2009, and assisting him on camera and also in the control room is our longtime Wachusett Chess Club member, Brian Bigelow. And sitting across from me is my longtime associate, trusty colleague, Wachusett Chess Club statistician, a photographer, chess photographer, a chess author, my co-host, Dave Kuchar of Westminster. Hello, Dave.
Hello, George.
Well, Dave, before we get into tonight's program, do you see anything different about me tonight?
The head?
The head?
Yeah.
I still have the same head? Okay.
Minus some hair.
Minus some hair. Well, I have a new look, thanks to a nice haircut, a beard trim.
I think we should have the viewers vote, on your...
Well,
do they like
I have to give a lot of thanks. My new look was done by a tonsorial artist by the name of Anthony Navarez at Thumbs Up Barbershop on John Fish Highway.
Yeah.
Gave me this new look. I like it. I told him, I said, after he gave me the cut, I said, Anthony, I feel great. I not only do I feel, you say I look good, he said I look good. I said, I feel good. So I have to thank Anthony at the Thumbs Up on John Fitch for this new look. But let's get down to really serious business.
All right.
Our program tonight, is actually about letting our viewers, Chess Chat viewers, know that we have a new Wachusett Chess Club champion.
Yep.
And who is that? Who is our new Chess Club champion?
That would be Ray Paulson for second time, third time?
Fourth time.
Fourth time, really.
Ray Paulson actually won the recent Wachusett Chess Club champion. We just finished it a couple of months ago. We weren't able to do it, our last program. But now we're going to talk about Ray Paulson, who's won the club championship 4 times.
Wow.
He won it for the first time. Now, here's a photo of Ray Paulson at the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. Yeah. A good photo of him sitting behind the white pieces there. Now, Ray has actually, as I say, won this 4 times, but the first time he won it, he shared it in 2016 with Roger Capallo.
Okay.
They were co-champions that year in 2016. First of all, I should point out that Ray has been with our club exactly 14 years. He joined the Wachusett Chess Club on January 6th, 2014.
Oh, really?
So it's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But in 2016, 6 years after he joined the club, he won the club championship, shared the championship with Roger Capallo. But then Ray, the following year, 2017, won it clear. He was sole champion in 2017.
Okay.
And then 4 years after that, 2021, a year after the pandemic, he won it clear again. And then just recently, last year, a couple of months ago, he won it for the 4th time.
Yep.
So he's a 4-time club champion. Now, I think maybe Darren might have actually another photo of Ray or something he can show us that we can talk about. If he calls up actually an image that we can dwell on, I will talk about it. But if not, we'll just continue with Ray. Now, Ray actually not only plays at the Wachusett Chess Club, has been playing for the 10 years, but he also plays at the Billerica Chess Club.
Right. Has
played at the Newburyport Chess Club. And
that's right, because he lives up that way, right?
He lives in Lowell. You should point out that actually Ray Paulson lives in Lowell.
Right.
And he is, by the way, a candidate master. His title is candidate master. He was awarded that title by his rating, getting a performance to put him over he's gone over 2,000, which is experts rate. Anyone who goes over 2,000, he never went over 2,200, which is master level, but he actually has been awarded the candidate master title, which he'll never lose. He'll never lose that title. Even though his current rating puts him at a Class A rating, his rating has dropped, he will never lose that title of candidate master. But again, he's been champion of both the Billerica Chess Club in 2011, and in Newburyport, I believe he won it in 2013.
Really?
So he's actually champion of 3 different chess clubs in the state of Massachusetts.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's been very loyal to us. Again, playing for the past 10 years, coming from Lowell every Wednesday night to compete with our players at the Wachusett Chess Club. Now, maybe we should actually present. Not maybe. We're going to definitely present one of his games. Ray picked this game out, by the way. We asked him, Ray, can you pick out actually a game from the Wachusett Chess Club Championship, which, by the way, was a 7-round event involving 16 players. He played actually 7 other players, and he finished first. And he picked out this game he played in round 6, the next to last round of the tournament, against a fellow by the name of Steve Murray, who happens to be director of the Westford Chess Club. Yeah, there's a chess club in Westford run by Steve Murray, who plays at our chess club.
I think that's actually defunct now.
Is it now defunct?
I don't think he's doing.
Well, he was running. It's actually still listed with the U.S. Chess Federation as a club, but maybe he's now inactive as far as running tournaments there. But Steve Murray and Ray Paulson met in round 6 of the Wachusett Chess Club Championship, and Steve Murray had white in the game against Ray. So how did Steve Murray open this game? Round 6 of the 2023 Wachusett Chess Club Championship. What did Steve Murray play?
So he opens with E4.
Okay. E4. We've played this hundreds of times. Again, we have done actually, close to 200 chess chat programs?
Close to 200, yeah.
Yeah, we've done many E4 openings, So here we see it on our screen. And Ray responded with the pawn to E5. So we have what we call a double king-pawn opening here.
Yep, very common.
All right, so how did Steve Murray now continue on his second move?
So by far the most common second move is knight F3.
Okay, we see the first threat of the game.
Right, threatening the pawn on E5.
Okay, knight is attacking the pawn on E5. Now, the most common reply to this is to defend that pawn on E5.
Right.
Most commonly played is either knight C6, which is the most common move.
Right.
There's also, one could also play D6, which is known as the Philidor's defense. It's named after an 18th century French player and musician, André Philidor, which shuts in the bishop.
Right, so that's why it's not played so often.
That's why it's not popular at all because of that. But what Ray did, he played what he loves to play. He played the knight to F6. He's not going to defend the pawn, but he's going to counterattack.
Right.
Now, this has a name. What is this move, knight F6?
So I think it has 2 names, right? The Petrov.
Yes, it has 2 names.
The Petrov and?
It's known as the Russian defense. Most of the chess players in the world would know this as the Russian defense. But many players in the United States and in England, actually in English-speaking countries, call this as the Petrovs.
That's what I've always
heard.
It's
named after an 19th century Russian player, Alexander Petrov, who was the strongest player, the strongest player of the 18th century in Russia. So we actually have now an attack on the e-pawn. Black is attacking the pawn. So.
And it's usually considered to be a solid.
It's a very good defense.
It tends to be drawish, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
but it's a good defense.
It's a good defense, but usually it's my understanding is it's not that exciting usually. Yes. Whereas in this case, it turned into a crazy game.
Yes, we're going to see some craziness in this game.
Yeah.
We've never seen before. Now, before we present Steve Murray's third move, can we give our viewers showing them what white could do before we actually present the game, the move that Steve actually played?
Well, the one that's almost always played is just taking.
Yes,
take the pawn.
There's nothing wrong with that, and probably that's one of the most popular replies.
Yeah.
Is to take the pawn. However, okay. Also, could that pawn be defended?
It could also be defended.
Okay.
So that's done as well.
That's also possible. Yeah, that's right. And there is even the possibility of actually just developing another piece. The bishop c4 is a variation.
Okay.
That it's playable.
Yep.
Now, what Steve Murray did was play a move that was recommended by the first official world champion, Wilhelm Steinitz. And this move that Steve Murray plays is known as the Steinitz variation against the Russian defense, and it is?
And it's d4.
d4. Now we have a double attack. We have now the knight and the pawn at d4 attacking the pawn on e5
right,
twice.
And he ignores the attack on his pawn.
Okay. Now what is normally played here is actually the pawn on e5 captures the pawn on d4. That is normally played.
Yep.
But what Ray did in this game he captured the pawn on e4 with the knight. Knight takes e4 was his move.
Yep.
So he captures the e pawn. He doesn't capture the d pawn. He captures the e pawn. Now, what did Steve Murray do now on his fourth move? Did he take the pawn on e5?
So there's lots of choices,
Yes.
right? He could take with the pawn. He could take with the knight.
Yes. He has choices.
Lots of choices, and he plays bishop to d3, which I think is the most common.
Yes. Yes.
Move
In
here.
this variation, this is most common. Again, the bishop attacks the knight, the undefended knight.
Yep.
He now has developed another piece, for one thing.
Right.
So what is Ray Paulson going to do against this? Well, you would think he could possibly just maybe bring the pawn up to d5 to protect it.
To protect it, or move it away.
Or move it away. But what Ray did was something I've never seen done before. He played the knight on b8 to c6, and he's leaving that that knight
sitting there
to be taken. Now, so that was actually Ray's fourth move, right? Knight c6.
Yep.
Now,
so
what
we should take a look before the show. Brian and I were looking at this, and we couldn't figure out why doesn't well,
let's see that.
White
All right,
just
we have our camera actually on our board.
Yep.
So if the bishop takes the knight, which is undefended,
right?
Okay, it's obvious. Why would Black allow this? Well, Black can respond with the pawn to d5, and attack the bishop. Now, the bishop now has to save itself.
Right.
Okay.
And
what does it do?
If it doesn't want to put itself on a square that's already attacked, the only thing it could do is go back here.
Right. But going back, right, in fact, it's the only move it has, really.
Right. I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only move. It can't go here to f5 because the bishop controls that square. But so how does actually Black proceed in this position? All Black has to do is advance the pawn to e4, fork the two pieces. Now, of course, with forking two pieces, could not White play the queen?
Could play the queen here.
And pin, so not allow the pawn on e4 to take either one. But of course, what is the response to that? The response to that is simply to go queen e7, and now there's no way
breaks the pin.
He breaks the pin, and now definitely Black's going to be able to, on the next move, take one of the minor pieces.
Yep.
Okay, so that's why we'll go back to the actual position here.
Yep.
Okay, queen's here, and knight's here. Okay, so we saw that actually the bishop moved to d3. We saw knight c6, right? And D5. Okay, so now we saw. Okay, now it's Steve Murray's move.
Right.
We got to play Steve Murray's fifth move.
Right.
What did Steve Murray now do? He's not taking the knight on with the bishop. Bishop takes E4.
Which he could have.
He could have done it.
Could have.
However, what he does is he plays D5.
So now this knight's attacked and that knight's attacked.
We got two pieces attacked.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is a very. I've never seen this position before ever. By the way, in your research, have you seen this? Has this position appeared anywhere?
Yes, yeah, not too many games.
It has appeared, though.
It has appeared, but then Ray's next move
is different.
Is different.
All right, so this is what Ray what Ray played was a novelty then. The next move, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what Ray could have done.
Yes.
I mean, one thing he could have done is simply knight F6.
Oh yes.
And then like as we showed before, after this.
And then advanced the pawn to E4.
Pawn again.
Fork the two pieces.
Right.
And is going to win one of them. Yeah. All right. So he could have done that.
That was a possibility.
Right. Okay. So on D5, what Steve Murray played was D5, attacking the knight. So what Ray Paulson did, and again, I have to give him a lot of credit. He plays the knight, which is under attack, back to D6.
Yeah.
So he's back to D6. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So now, what do we do?
Now we have a crazy position.
We have a very crazy position. I've never seen a position like this.
So this knight is attacked.
Right. Okay.
And black is threatening that.
Right. So what Steve Murray did is do what? This is his sixth move.
Well, do you want to show what he could have done?
Oh yes. What could he have? Actually, it is actually White's move, right?
It's White's move, and so I think the reason that this wasn't played before is that Steve could have just developed.
Yes.
So he's covering the square.
So he didn't have to take this right away.
So now he's covering the square. So
stopping the advance of the pawn. Right.
And now black has to.
Well, then the knight has
to go somewhere. Right.
Go here and attack the bishop here.
Right.
Yeah,
so
right.
again, it's a crazy position.
So Steve Murray had the opportunity to play the knight to C3 then.
To C3. Right?
Yeah.
But he
chose to take the knight.
He takes the knight, which it's.
Yeah. So D takes C6.
Not a bad move.
Not a bad move. So he took D takes C6. Okay. Now, of course, this allows Ray Paulson to advance the pawn to E4 and fork the two pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like we showed before, White could put the queen there.
Which would have the black queen go to.
Right.
But again, black would win one of those minor pieces in response to that.
But again, there's so many choices here. I mean, White could take here on D7 with check.
Right.
White could have just taken with the bishop.
Right.
Could have put the queen there, but he just goes with development and castles.
Right. He realized he has to give the piece back that he won on D.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now the question remains for Ray Paulson, which minor piece do we take?
Right.
Do we take the bishop on D3, or will we take the knight on F3 with the pawn?
Yeah.
Now, what we all know, we know, our viewers don't know how Ray responded.
Yeah.
But Ray decided he wanted to take the knight, on F3. Although there are some players I'm sure would think of getting rid of the light squared bishop. Yeah.
I think I would take the bishop just because the two bishops is typically a benefit, but
what Ray did was E takes F3, the knight on F3. Okay.
I'd be interested in knowing like how much time both of them had used up just in the opening. I'll bet they had both used a lot of time here.
Okay. Now, it is now Steve Murray's eighth move. Now, a number of players would say, well, I'm just take back with the queen. But Steve didn't do that. He actually played what we call a Zwischenzug. Mm-hmm. A Zwischenzug is German for an in-between move. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what is the in-between move that Steve Murray played?
Plays rook t1 with
check. So it's okay. And by the way, with the rook checking the king, black only has one move. To stop that. And the only move he can play is bishop e7. That's the only move he has here. Yep. It's a forced move. Bishop e7. All right, so it is now Steve Murray's ninth move. What does he do?
And again, lots of choices, right?
Choices.
He could take back with the queen.
He could take back, right?
Or he could take this way, check.
Right.
could take here.
Yeah. Well, actually, right now, black is threatening to win a pawn if he's able. White doesn't want to lose a pawn here, right?
Right. So if white takes here, black's going to take back.
Right. Exactly. Right. So that's why Steve Murray now captures. C takes D7
with check.
With check, right? With check.
So.
Okay, and of course, black has to recapture. Ray has to recapture. He's certainly not going to capture with the queen and block
his own bishop.
Bishop. So he takes back naturally. Bishop takes D7 is his move.
Yep.
All right. So there's now Ray Paulson's 10th move. Now he can do what?
Now it's the only obvious choice is queen takes F3.
Okay, so let's look at this position now. Materially, it's even, is it not? Both sides
dead even.
Dead even. 6 pawns versus 6.
Yeah.
So we actually have material.
It's a very I'd say very drawish, right? Because
looks drawish, right?
3 pawns against 3, 3 against 3.
Right. It does.
Materials even.
Yeah. And now it's time for Ray Paulson the castle, and that's what he does on his 10th move. He puts his king safely, hopefully safely, on the king side.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now how does Steve Murray continue on his 11th move?
Well, so
he's actually
needs to develop these 2 pieces. So he, bishop F4.
Okay. So bishop F4, he brings it there. Okay. All right. So after bishop F4, Ray plays his rook on F8 over to E8. So he gets over on this open file in response to bishop F4. It is now Steve Murray's 12th move. He has to catch up in development or continue his development.
So knight to C3.
Okay, so that's a very good move, natural move. All right, so here is where Ray Paulson says, well, I think I want to attack the queen. He plays bishop C6.
Attacks the queen and gives his queen a square to develop to also.
Yes, right. It does, yeah. All right. So the question is, with the attack on the queen, it looks like the queen has to move.
Right.
Although it could be blocked, but would be dangerous. Well, actually, he could block it with the bishop, yeah. Although there's too much. There's too much. Yes, right. No, he chooses not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does he do? What does he do with that queen under attack?
Yeah. So again, that's always tricky. There's lots of squares the queen could go to. It could go here. It could go there.
Right.
Could come to here.
What does he now? But what did he decide on his 13th
so
move?
Queen H5.
Ooh. What is now? Ooh. Now he's a threat.
Yeah.
He has the queen and the bishop on D3, threatening to take.
Mate in 2.
Right. He's threatening a mate in 2 here.
Yep.
If that queen is allowed to take the pawn on H7, it's over.
Yep.
It's in 2 moves. Okay.
Yep.
So we have to stop that. And what Ray decides to stop that mating threat is to play the pawn to G6, attack the queen.
Block,
it blocks, right? Okay. So it's going to force the queen now to move again.
So again, lots of places the queen could go, lots of choices.
So what does Steve Murray choose? Where does he bring the queen?
It's back to G4.
Okay. All right. So back to G4.
So part of the point, I think, is that he's got it, on the same file as the king. He's pinning this pawn.
Right. Exactly. All right. So now, this next move surprised me. But here is where Ray is now basically offering an exchange of queens by playing the queen to D7. He plays the queen to D7, which actually offers.
Nope.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Not yet.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm all right.
Bishop F6.
Oh yes. I'm ahead of myself.
Yep.
He plays first bishop to F6. Oh, by the way, with the bishop F6, there could be a threat of actually taking the knight and doubling those pawns. You're right. So bishop F6 is a very good move because it has a threat of possibly doubling the pawns of the C pawns. Right. Okay. So because Steve Murray sees that, what does he do?
So he pulls his bishop back to D2 to guard the knight.
Yes, he plays it back so he can defend the knight and avoid the doubling of pawns, the C pawns. Okay. All right. So with the bishop to D2, It is now where Ray decides he's going to play queen to d7 and offer an exchange of queens. Because, again, the queen is defended by the bishop on c6. All right. Now, if, again, Steve Murray is a lower rated than Ray, and it would be very tempting, actually, just simply to exchange queens.
Yeah, I think. I think if it's me, I'm just gonna get the queens off.
If you're playing a higher rated player, maybe it may be wise, very prudent to exchange queens.
I think I'd exchange the queens. I'd exchange the rooks. I'd try and get everything off the board.
And play for a draw against a higher rated player. Okay, but but Steve.
But I think so. This was round 6. I don't know where Steve was in the standings. I mean, was Steve possibly in the running? Like, if Steve won this game, would he have been?
No, I don't. Well, he was not that far behind. No, but he wasn't. He was in contention.
Sure, because he mustn't have been more than like half a point behind Ray, right? If they were paired.
But again, this was 16 players with a 7-rounder, and again, it's very possible that he meant it. Well, you know how we're going to solve this? We're going to see the cross. Hear it. Oh. Okay. Thank you, Darren, for showing us the cross table. Now, are we going to be able to read this cross table? We see Ray. If I don't know if we can enlarge this or anything, but Ray Paulson's name is on the top, the top line, and it shows you actually.
So while it's still there, I'm going to walk up to it since we're not on camera.
Okay. So.
Let's
all right,
see.
So
Steve
what do you
Murray.
see? What do you read there? Where do you see Ray Paulson? Ray Paulson and Steve Murray. Where do you see him in the standings?
So Steve had 2.5 at that point. So so he was not in contention.
No, this after 5 rounds, he's at 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Okay. All right. So he wasn't good.
I was just wondering if maybe he had a chance to.
Well, but no, he wasn't in contention.
Yeah.
But again, Ray. I don't know how many points Ray had at that point, but Ray decided not to exchange queens. I mean, he decided not to. Steve decided not to exchange queens.
Yep.
Steve, I evidently wanted to play for the win.
Yep.
So he relocated his queen where? Where did he bring his queen to?
So he pulled it back to G3.
Okay, queen to G3. Now this next move that Ray Paulson played, I liked very much. I don't know whether you have any computer analysis on this.
Yeah, the computer likes it.
The computer likes it too, right?
Yeah.
I like it because the knight goes to C4. Wait a minute. The knight goes to C4, the bishop can take it, right? However, but of course, if
the bishop takes.
And then the queen could take the bishop here. And then have an attack on the pawn on C2. So the knight on C4 has the threat of first of all attacking the bishop on D2. It also is threatening the pawn on 2 undefended a piece and a pawn.
Right. So he's pretty much guarantees that Ray's going to get one of the bishops.
Right.
So then Ray will have the 2 bishop advantage.
All right. So what Steve Murray decides to do, he's not going to bring the bishop back to C1, which he could have done. No, because that bishop he wants to keep here to protect this knight from having this bishop take off and doubling the pawn. So what Steve Murray did, he played queen to F4, did he not?
He did.
Yeah. Now, but however, I have questions about this move. Does the computer also question this move?
Yeah, I mean...
The computer doesn't like this move, right?
It preferred that he had taken...
It prefers that the bishop take on C4.
Yeah, so he plays queen to F4.
Okay, this could lead to trouble. Although it looks good, doesn't it? First of all, the queen protects the bishop. Yep. The queen also attacks the knight.
Right.
So we have a double attack.
And it's also attacking this bishop.
Oh, yes. We have a queen is attacking this undefended bishop. Yep. So on the surface, it looks good, right?
Yep.
But actually, this could be the downfall of White's game by playing the queen to F4, by doing this. Yeah. So it is now Ray Paulson's move after queen F4. And what he did, he got rid of that bishop. Mm-hmm. Knight takes on D2 the bishop, which forces actually White only has one. White has a choice.
I think he would have been better off just taking with the queen.
He could have taken Steve Murray could have taken queen takes the knight on D2, but he chose to play queen takes F6.
Yep.
All right. All right. So let's look at this very carefully. Queen is taken on to, but now this allows Ray Paulson to have a major threat now with this next move.
Yeah.
And how does Steve Murray handle this? The queen now goes to G4. What is black threatening here?
So black is threatening to take here, checkmate.
With the queen. Queen takes G2 is checkmate.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does one stop this? How does one stop this? We can't actually advance. We can't advance the pawn. We should show our viewers what would happen if any one of those the G pawn were to advance to.
Right. So if he pushes the G pawn.
Right. Exactly. How does one handle this?
Then black has.
That goes there. He could go there. Check. He's gonna win. He can win the exchange. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Or I mean.
Or even he can go here. Could he not? Could he? No. That's the way.
Can he go here, still threatening mate?
Oh yes, he's threatening.
Oh no, that's what the queen's covering.
No, but it was still win the exchange.
Here.
No. But the bishop would have to move back.
What's it? Okay,
No. What this would do would allow the winning of the exchange.
Right.
So that would be not good at all for white.
And the other pawn that could be pushed, I suppose, would be that.
But then the knight could take the pawn on F6.
Check.
Yeah. And the queen can't take back.
And then.
Yeah. So this is bad news.
Yeah.
Bad news for white.
Yeah. So I think so that what it came down to is when he took here, he didn't see this threat.
He had to control that G4 square. That queen actually, by being displaced and not actually control the G4 square.
Right. So I guess we can show.
Yes.
I'm going to screw it up a little, but so if
he had taken and left
it happened this way.
You mean he had left the bishop here?
He had left the bishop.
Leave that bishop.
Put the bishop there.
Right. So the bishop, now the queen actually, this queen would never have been allowed to.
Well, now.
Okay.
Now I guess this works, right? Or does it?
No, because the bishop. The bishop can still take.
The bishop can take, but the queen's covering that square.
Right,
now.
exactly. But he wins but he win a pawn though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I can see.
So the computer likes that. So it said that actually the
queen coming back to take the knight would have been better.
Better. Okay. All right. So, but instead, here in this position, after the queen, where are we now? Queen, I'm looking.
So it's white's 19th move now.
All right. So what Steve Murray did was play bishop e4.
Yeah.
Blocks the mate threat.
Blocks the mate threat, but now this is attacked.
Right. How many times?
3 times. It's only defended twice.
Oh. So this is after bishop e4. All Ray did was just simply take knight takes the bishop on e4, okay, and what did Steve Murray do?
Steve capture back with the knight.
Okay, and this is where Ray just simply took rook takes e4, and after this, Steve Murray realized he made a mistake allowing this because he's going to be behind a full piece. And he decided to resign. And that's what he did in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, this was a game that Ray Paulson picked up. As they explained to me, he explained it to me because he says, I like this game.
Yeah.
Of all the games I played in the club championship, he liked this the best. Now, I'm hopeful that Darren can actually show if he has any other photo of Ray Paulson, but he has a group photo. I want actually, Darren, if you can show a group photo. Here it is, a classic photo of 8 Wachusett Chess Club champions. This was taken several years ago at the McKay campus at Fitchburg State, and we have 8 champions, including the very first Wachusett Chess Club champion, standing on the far right. You see actually the player on the far right? The first official Wachusett Chess Club champion was Frank Hacker. Frank Hacker won the Wachusett Chess Club in 1960. It was I believe in June of 1960. The Wachusett Chess Club did not acquire the name Wachusett Chess Club until February of 1960.
Okay.
Before then, people knew it in the area as basically the Fitchburg Chess Club.
Yep. Yep.
But we decided when I joined the club in 1958. we decided in 1960 to have actually a regional name.
Right.
So it was agreed upon that we would be the Wachusett Chess Club, and that we've been that way since 1960. This is where we'll be in our 64th year.
Yeah.
So Frank Hacker, whose parents, by the way, were well known in the city of Fitchburg, they owned a shoe store on Lower Main Street, the House of Shoes. His father, Frank Hacker's father, was Bennett Hacker. His mother was Cia Hacker. They owned a great shoe store in downtown Fitchburg. Now you won't find any shoe stores in downtown Fitchburg, but back then in the 1960s, yeah, there were numerous shoe stores in Fitchburg. So he was the first official world champion. Now,
club champion.
The club champion. No, I'm sorry. I got mixed up. Club champion. First official club champion. Now, you see Ray Paulson is standing right next to him.
Yeah.
Ray Paulson, again, and how long has Ray been with us? He's been with us 10 years.
10 years, on the nose, yeah.
Now, who is standing next to Ray? To Ray's right is yours truly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, I've been with the club since 1958.
Yeah, and we should say that you've won the championship more times than anyone, and that's a record that'll probably never be touched.
Well,
do you know how many times?
17 times.
17.
17 times. Yeah.
So no one else is even close to that, right?
Ray is the closest with 4.
With 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So I'm at 17. Ray's at 4. Right? So.
Yeah.
But who knows? Down the road, somebody could do it. Now, who is standing to my right?
That's Larry Gladding.
Okay, so Larry Gladding has been with the club many, many years, and I've been trying to dig up actually how long Larry Gladding. Let's see, when was Larry Gladding? Larry Gladding's a 3-time club champion.
Okay.
Yep, and actually he won it for the first time. He shared top honors a club championship in 1992. With Dave Allard. You remember Dave Allard? Fitchburg High School graduate?
No, I don't think I ever.
You never played Dave Allard?
No.
All right. So in 1992, Dave Allard, who became a lawyer, a graduate of Fitchburg High School, who stopped playing. We haven't seen Dave Allard in many years. Yeah. But in 92, they were club champions. But then Dave, in 1998, shared the club championship with me. Yeah, in 1998. And then in 2009, Larry won it clear. He was the sole champion in 2009. So he's won the club championship 3 times. Okay. Now, who is standing next to Larry?
Roger Capallo.
Roger Capallo. Now, Roger Capallo is a renowned retired radio astronomer. Yeah, he's known in the field of astronomy. And he lives in Groton. And he actually has won the club championship actually twice. Both times as co-champion. And he did it actually in 2016 with Ray Paulson. That's when they shared the honors. And then, was it 6 years ago? Yeah, 2018, he shared the club championship with Gary Broussard. Now, you know Gary Broussard because he's a long-time Wachusett Club member, lives in Leominster. And again, they were co-champions, Roger Capallo and Gary Broussard in 2018.
And Roger was a contender until close to the end this year, right?
Yes, he was. Yeah, yes, absolutely. Yep. Now, standing next to Roger Capallo, right? Or no, okay.
Paul Godin.
Paul Godin. Now, what do we know about Paul Godin? Now, Paul Godin goes way back to the 1960s. He won the club championship when he was a teenager. Actually, he was still, I think, in high school, 1967. So he won it actually, he was clear champion in 1967. But he's back. And by the way, does Paul Godin do something for the club? What does Paul Godin do for our
club webmaster?
He's our webmaster. Okay. But again, were you not the one who created
I started
You started the website.
But I was happy to hand it to Paul.
And anybody wants to get, actually, I consider it probably the best club website, certainly in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But you started it.
Right.
And of course, Paul Godin expanded it, right? He's added more things to it. And it's a fantastic website. What is that? We've never given our viewers our website address, have we? It's wachusettchess.org.
Right.
If you go to wachusettchess.org, you'll get a lot of stuff. But wait a minute. Your creations are all, I mean, your work is also seen on it because you're a club statistician.
Right.
Every week we have updates as far as statistics, as far as the wins, the losses, the draws, the percentage. You do all that.
Right.
You do that faithfully, week after week. So you are one of our unsung heroes at the club. Okay, let's go back to the group photo if we can. So we have Paul Godin, who won the club championship in 1967, and I think Bruce. There's somebody standing behind Paul, and that's Bruce Felton.
Yep.
And Bruce Felton now is a longtime member of the Wachusett Chess Club. Now he has won the club championship 3 times.
Okay.
Okay, and he won it for the first time in 2004.
Really?
By his own, yes, on his own.
Wow.
He didn't share it with anybody.
Yep.
Yeah, he was 2004 was his first club championship, but in 2005 he was co-champion with me. 2005, the following year, and then he came back just about 5 years ago,
right?
2019,
right,
and won it clear again. Yeah.
Right, so, and we had him on the show, wasn't he?
Yes.
Was he 65 at that point?
I believe it was. Yes, we had Bruce on the show.
Yep.
In fact, Bruce actually going back to Chess Chat. We go back to 2006 October. Bruce actually has appeared not only as a guest on the show, but he also has worked behind camera.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in the old days, by the way, our club Chess Chat, we had multiple camera people. But Bruce was one of our camera people, but he's been on the show. When Bobby Fischer died, by the way, we did a show after the death of Bobby Fischer. We had a panel. We had a group of club members we didn't present a game. Right. No analysis of any game. We just talked about Bobby Fischer, his contribution to chess, and Bruce Felton was one of the panelists on that show we did. Okay, now. Standing at the far left is a player who became, or still has the title of a master, and this is Robert King, known as Rob King.
Yep.
Rob King won the club championship on his own in 2011. He is now lives in Framingham. Right. Grew up in Worcester. In fact, he told me some time ago, he says, George, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be involved in chess. You got me involved in chess by coming down to Worcester and doing tournaments at the Tatnut Booksellers. There was a bookstore in Worcester known as Tatnut Bookseller. I used to run tournaments there.
I didn't realize that.
And Rob King, as a youngster, played, this is back in the 80s, or maybe the 90s. And he says, you actually influenced me in chess.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to announce to our Chess Chat viewers that Rob King has announced that he plans to run for the presidency of the Massachusetts Chess Association.
Yep.
So he is very serious about actually becoming, wants to serve on the board of directors and would like to become president.
Yep.
So his name should be appearing on this year's ballot for the presidency of the Massachusetts Chess Association.
Yep.
So we wish him well. We certainly support him.
Yeah, I definitely plan to vote for him.
Okay, so we have some time remaining, and we'll have to talk about the things at the club. Okay, first of all, I want to point out to you this past weekend, Sean Shu. So we had Sean Shu, who was our 10-year-old Chinese-American youngster from Lexington.
Right, he finished second, right, in the club championship?
He finished second in the club championship, yes, right. Yeah, right. And by the way, not only did he finish second in the club championship that Ray Paulson won, it was Ray Paulson's only loss.
Oh, that's right.
Sean Shu was the only one to defeat Ray Paulson in the club championship. Yeah. And again, in my game with Sean, I was able to draw him. In fact, he offered me a draw, and I accepted.
Yeah.
I would like to predict that Sean Shu could possibly be the club champion in 2024.
He's probably the favorite.
He has to be the favorite. His rating now has gone up. He's now inching toward the rating of 2100. His current rating after this tournament, he just competed in this tournament at Logan Airport called the Boston Chess Congress.
Okay.
It was the 12th annual Boston Chess Congress, which was organized by the biggest chess organizer in the country. That's Bill Goichberg. Bill Goichberg, who's been doing this since the early 60s,
Yep.
is actually director of the Continental Chess Association. He is by far the P.T. Barnum of chess.
Yeah.
I mean, he's all over the country with tournaments. Yeah, and Sean Shu played in this tournament at Logan Airport. Bill Goichberg now has some excellent directors. He has a great staff of directors. One of them is somebody you know, Bob Messenger.
Yeah.
Bob Messenger, who happens to be the treasurer of the Massachusetts Chess Association, but also the chief tournament director of all the tournaments that the Massachusetts Chess Association organizes. Mm-hmm. Bob Messenger directs them, yeah. But he also has players like Harold Stencil from New York. And by the way, the Wachusett Chess Club has actually paid tribute to Harold Stencil.
Oh, really?
When he turned 60 years old, some years ago. We do that. We do that at the Wachusett Chess Club. We honor players, both living, but mostly who have passed away, because we run a lot of memorial tournaments.
Yep.
By the way, aren't we running a memorial tournament right now in honor of a player who was with us many years by the name of Reggie Boone?
Reggie Boone, yeah.
Now, Reggie Boone actually was with us, again, many, many years. But you know what Reggie Boone's claim to fame is? Among other things.
Yeah, there's multiple ones, right? Yeah.
He has multiple things.
Yeah.
First of all, he teamed up with Mr. Universe many years ago. I think Reggie Boone graduated from Gardner High School back in the 40s. But he was an athletic. He was an athlete. He was top. He was one of the star football players at Gardner High School. But he also got involved in athletics and bodybuilding, and he roomed with Mr. Universe back many years ago. And they used to do exhibitions. They went around the country and did exhibitions. He and Mr. Universe, back in those years. But here is what I remember about Reggie Boone, whom we are honoring right now with a current tournament. Reggie Boone beat the world checker champion back in the 1950s. His name was Tom Wiswell. And Tom Wiswell came to Fitchburg and put on a checker exhibition at the Fitchburg YMCA. And Reggie Boone played there, beat him. You know who else played there? You have no idea who also played checkers back at the Fitchburg YMCA and played Tom Wiswell. Was mayor, one of the most colorful and controversial mayors in the city of Fitchburg, by the name of Hedley Bray. Now, a lot of our Chess Chat viewers who have lived in Fitchburg for many years would know the name Hedley Bray. But Hedley Bray was a checker fan. Yeah.
I only recognize because there's some bridge. There's a bridge named the Hedley Bray Memorial Bridge somewhere, right?
There is?
Yeah, that's the only reason I recognize that name.
Now, one of Hedley Bray's claims. In fact, people said that he used to get on the snow. During the wintertime when the plows are out plowing the streets, he would get on the plows with the DPW workers and make sure that blade of that plow was right down and clearing the snow, because he had problems with the local DPW. He said, "Wait a minute, you guys, are you making sure you're clearing off the roads properly?" So he would be known to get on the plows, and ride with the plow drivers and make sure that the blade of the plow was on.
I'm sure they love that.
Okay, so again, we have time remaining, and we have to fill the time, of course. Okay, let's get back actually to what's happening at the club. Now, I think we should promote something that one of our club members is doing, which you and I get involved in frequently. There is a one of our club members is Michael David. You played a match with Michael David recently that just ended. This was a rematch. You had played a match with Michael David, who lives in Groton.
Yep.
You won.
He won the first match.
He won the first match.
Right.
and then you actually had a rematch, which just ended just recently, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay, but what happened in the rematch that you played?
I won the rematch.
Okay, and you used to alternate between playing in Groton,
Westminster. Yep.
And his house, by the way, he actually has a site. He has a Facebook page called Meadow House.
Right.
Meadow House
Yeah,
Chess.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So what we should tell our viewers what happens every Sunday evening on Meadow House Chess, the Facebook page.
Right.
What Michael does, he actually invites people to join him and others in presenting games, for one thing.
Yeah.
He's great on statistics, metrics.
Yeah,
Michael David loves chess metrics.
That's right. Yeah.
But what entices me to watch this program every Sunday evening, that starts at 7:30. Every Sunday at 7:30.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if our Chess Chat viewers wanted to take part in this, both as just a viewer or as a participant, they can actually go and find out. Here's an easy way, I consider. They could go to the website of the Massachusetts Chess Association, which is masschess.org.
Okay.
There is a calendar listing of events in the state, and also beyond the state, in New England. And there's a link. There's actually, if you link on Meadow House Chess, there's a listing of Meadow House Chess. Click on that.
Yep.
It'll bring you to Michael David's email. You get his email address.
Yeah.
You email Michael David from that listing, and he will send you the link to the Sunday evening Meadow House Chess session.
Right. Right. And he sends it out, I think.
He sends it out
Sunday afternoon.
He sends it out Sunday afternoon. And then the program is done in two. It's done on Zoom. These are all two Zoom sessions. They're both like, 40 minutes long?
I think so, yeah.
Each 40 minutes long. And you can take part. If people, you could be a passive viewer.
Right.
Or you could be an active participant where you can make your comments.
Right. Or present your own game.
Or you present your own game. Now, we had on the program that was done yesterday, we did actually another session yesterday, we actually had a new person join us on that.
Right.
That you actually reached out to. You reached out to this new player, and you told this new player, his name was first name was Anand Wadikar.
Yeah.
Okay. You sent him an email. You sent an email and told him if you want to join the Wachusett Chess Club, all you have to do is show up on a Wednesday evening. Hopefully, 6:45 p.m. at the latest.
At the latest, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're new to the club,
right,
it would be best actually to show up by 6:30. 6:30, giving you, because right now you're directing the current tournament. You're not our regular tournament director, but you're filling in. Who were you filling in for?
Mike Camiso, who once filled in for me on Chess Chat.
That's right, he did.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Mike Camiso, who lives in Brookline, New Hampshire, is our regular certified tournament director.
Yeah.
He'll be back with us actually in 2 weeks. He won't be. He'll be missing now this week, but next week, the following week
after, he'll be back.
So, but you're directing the current tournament. Yeah. So, but again, anyone new who wants to join the club, or even if you don't want to join the club, say you want to come and play some casual chess, and I get sometimes requests. Email from players to say, can I come and just play some fun games? I said, absolutely. I mean, just come and join us. You're not going to be charged anything to come and play casual chess, because I am there at the club, certainly like 5:45. I get there early, along with Brian Bigelow. By the first person to get to the Wachusett Chess Club on a Wednesday evening every week is our own Brian Bigelow.
Yep.
And I have to give a lot of credit to Brian Bigelow.
Absolutely.
Because without him, maybe we would be doing this program. He prepares the set. The set we see here prepares every month by Brian. But he also sets up at the McKay campus building in the classrooms. He has to redo redoing the chairs and putting out the board numbers. So Brian Bigelow does a lot for the Wachusett Chess Club. Yeah, so he's another unsung hero as far as I'm concerned. So anyways, we welcome any new chess players. Now, what we don't do on a regular basis, we don't teach chess to any beginners, although we will welcome them in. And if they want to learn chess, if they come early, we'll have someone. We have a number of players who come early who would be willing to go over and explain chess, how the game is played, because we do have early birds who come. So we welcome that. Again, we have to let our viewers know that we have very good attendance. The last tournament we held, it just ended a few weeks ago, we had 41 players. Yeah. Now, we actually, in our database, in fact, the stats you maintain, we have many more players than that, right? Exactly. Yeah. If I were to count all the players who have played at the Wachusett Chess Club, it probably might have even approached 1,000 over the years. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me, because I had run the numbers for just, I could easily check over the last 6 years to the USCF site, and I think it was close to 200 over the last 6 years.
Over the last 6 years.
Over the last 6 years, yeah.
Okay.
As far back as they go, but on their stats, and it came out to like almost 200 people.
Right. Unfortunately, the U.S. Chess Federation, of which we are an affiliate, we're an official affiliate, has no history of our club prior to 1991.
Nothing online, anyway.
Nothing online.
Right.
That is, actually, if you were to look at the history of our tournaments that we held ever since we started having rated tournaments back in the 60s, there's nothing there. There's not, you won't find anything online, unfortunately. So all the U.S. Chess Federation has is the history of the Wachusett Chess as far as the tournaments we've conducted going back to 1991. So that's a little over 30 years.
That's when they went online with everything.
That's right, exactly. Okay. So anyways, it's unfortunate that our history is not available online.
Yeah.
But
although on the website we do have some historical information.
Yes, thanks to Paul Godin, who's put a lot of historical stuff. Yeah. And among the historical stuff which is posted on the club website, and of course I'm a broken record on this, as far as Bobby Fischer appearing in Fitchburg, 1964. There are photos. There are photos of Bobby Fischer playing in Fitchburg, March 2nd, 1964. As I pointed out, this was actually Bobby Fischer's only appearance at a chess club in Massachusetts. In that year, he did a national chess tour in 1964, and Fitchburg was the only club he picked out among all the clubs that were in Fitchburg. And of course, in 1982, we had a former world champion, Tigran Petrosyan, who came to Fitchburg. And that's when our club was meeting at the St. Joseph Club in Cleghorn. And Tigran Petrosyan played there. And he was astounded by our club. He was very impressed that our club actually was doing very well. It was standing room only, as I recall, at the Tigran Petrosyan exhibition in 1982. He died we didn't know he was ill, and died actually 2 years after that. So anyways, Dave, we've done a lot of talking about the Wachusett Chess Club, but we congratulate Ray Paulson as far as winning his 4th Wachusett Chess Club championship. And we promise to our Chess Chat viewers that we'll present to them an interesting program next time.
To be determined.
And we will promise you a good program. So stay tuned for that next Chess Chat on FATV.